guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We're here at West Shore Mazda in Tampa, Florida, and guess what? I have that top-selling compact SUV from Mazda that has received some updates, some refresh, and some changes. This is it. This is the 2022 Mazda CX-5. Our particular one is the S trim with the preferred package. But before we get into this bright white compact SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. Mazda, they've been doing the business for so many decades when it comes to very stylish, very versatile vehicles. Now, of course, a lot of people, when they hear Mazda, they think of the mighty MX-5 Miata. I know growing up in the 80s and 90s, it was all about that rotary-powered RX-7. But you know what? When Mazda first started as a company, they didn't even sell cars. Of all things, they produced cork. Yes, cork, like what you put in the tip of a wine bottle. But fast forward to 1933, not a very big fast forward, but a fast forward from the 20s to the 30s, and that's when Mazda made their first vehicle. It actually was a three-wheeled pickup truck known as the Mazda Go, going up into the 70s and 80s. Lots of changes, but you know what? In today's 21st century, it's still all about SUVs. Yes, we're moving towards electrification, but there's still brands that are taking those steps to really kind of bridge the gap between internal combustion engine and electrification, and Mazda has brought some changes to their top-selling CX-5. Now, this vehicle being a compact SUV has a lot of competition. Let's be real. The big juggernaut, Toyota and Honda, or I should say juggernauts, Toyota and Honda, Toyota with the RAV4, Honda with the CR-V. Of course, you got the new players, or the newish players, with the Hyundai Tucson, and of course, the Kia Sportage. But what I want to find out is, has Mazda made the right steps with this refresh, made the right steps with this update to go against the big boy, that Toyota RAV4? Because guess what? In 2022, the RAV4 is also receiving some updates. So let's go ahead, let's dive into our bright snowflake white, that's the name of the color, CX-5, and find out, is it the better compact SUV to buy over the RAV4? Let's go ahead and dive in and find out. Right off the bat, the color really fits it to a T. Now, where do we see some of the changes? Guess what? It starts right at the front end of the business. You're gonna get updated, upgraded headlights. LED projector beam style headlight, daytime running lamp, and then you can see your standard light bulb turn signal. I am gonna zonk the turn signal in there, but the great news is you're getting these really great LED daytime running lamps. I really feel like Mazda does some of the best headlight design. Like, this is something I would expect on a sports car or a supercar, and it really elevates the feel of their SUV with just the lighting alone. Now, as we drop down, you get that nice smooth surface, just like a baby's butt, no fake vents, nothing stuck on, and then some flat black along the bottom. As we come across the center grille area, I'm really digging the grille design that they've done with the whole 2022 setup. So you're gonna get gloss black. It almost looks like a chain link type of deal going on, super strong in its appearance with the Mazda badge. And then you got that chrome trim that actually mimics the design of the badge into the front grille area. Very, very smart styling. There really is not a flat edge on this whole car. Dropping down, you got this wide opening to scoop all that air in, and I do think the flat black is the right choice because this is gonna take a better beating. Plus, it kind of balances out with the white on our particular CX-5. Now, when we get up onto that low slung hood, you'll notice that nice sleek design, probably the sleekest out of all the compact SUVs. And if we're comparing this to the RAV4, this definitely has the softer curves to really give it that sporty look, whereas the RAV4 is more like a squared off, higher nose kind of SUV. But all you have are just body lines that coast right on up to the A-pillars, and that's it. Now, as we come around the bend, new wheels and tires setup. Check out on our S trim, I'm really digging the style of this wheel. So you're gonna have your black gloss painted with the machined aluminum. Really gives it a really slick look. And I'm liking the design philosophy that not only do they do in the overall wheel, but the way that it is positioned in the fender opening. Now, when it comes to this wheel, what size is it? This is an 18-inch wheel. You have 225 on the width and a meaty 55 series sidewall. All new for 2022, besides the wheel, standard all-wheel drive. So just like some other brands like Subaru brag about standard all-wheel drive, on the CX-5 for 2022, you're getting standard all-wheel drive. I don't mind on this vehicle the flat black, especially because this is an S trim. Flat black, not too high, unlike the CX-30. The CX-30, they take that plastic cladding almost into the hood, but they kept it really slim and trim. And remember, one of the things that Mazdas are known for is that fun driving, which I think compared to the RAV4, this is going to be the better driver of the two. But let's go ahead and continue down the side. Everything else from the side is going to be your CX-5. Now, if you're saying, well, Joe, when did they come out with this design? This has been around since 2016, so it's been a hot minute since they came out with this design, but you can see how timeless it's been. Still looking very, very fresh, and this snowflake color has a nice pearlescent white to it. It's got a nice metal flake, color matched on the mirror caps. They do the turn signals so slim and trim. Really think that's smart. And then along the bottom, you got a little bit of flat black, nothing too crazy. We got color matched on the door handles, bright shiny metalwork top, just on the bottom, not on the top. And that's what's gonna be great, is that this is very cohesive with the chrome that's at the front of the vehicle. Sliding on down, it kind of flares out almost into a putter. It almost looks like a golf putter, but it looks great on the CX-5. And then as we switch it around the back, just like the front, I'm in love with the updated, upgraded taillights. Look at the way that they did the LED brake lights, the turn signals. I love the way they extend it out, gives it that sporty flair, that aerodynamic efficiency. Short, stubby spoiler, but you do get a color match shark fin antenna. I don't mind the wiper at this price point, but I think we'd all agree it would be much cleaner if there was a way to get rid of it. Dropping it like it's hot, super white. You got the flat black just like up front, and then I love the way they give us an exhaust on one outlet on each side. Nice round cut stainless steel with the all-wheel drive and the CX-5 badge, looking good. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk horsepower numbers in this refresh updated CX-5. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have one of those pesky prop rods, but I'm not gonna zonk it because the Toyota has it, the Honda has it, even the other new players, the Tucson and the Sportage, have prop rods. So we're not gonna zonk it, but underneath the hood, that tried and true engine, you're looking at the 2.5 liter naturally aspirated inline four, tasteful engine cover with the Mazda logo, and you have two cup holders. So when you're looking at your engine, maybe detailing it, you can put your two drinks there. No, that's obviously a joke. You can see where your dipstick is and where you're gonna pour the oil in. At the back end of the engine compartment, you could actually see all the space and the heat shielding, because remember, you could still get this CX-5 turbocharged, which you cannot get a RAV4 turbocharged. But what are we looking at? With our naturally aspirated 2.5 liter inline four, we're looking at 187 horsepower, 186 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a 6-speed automatic. It has been revised for 2022. And if you're comparing this to the RAV4, remember the RAV4 also has a conventional automatic with a torque converter, but that is an 8-speed automatic. 0 to 60 on our particular CX-5 is going to be 7.3 seconds. So it actually accelerates quicker than the RAV4. Even though the RAV4 has a little bit more horsepower, you could tow up to 2,000 pounds. And guess what? Even with the standard all-wheel drive, MPGs, 24 in the city, 30 on the highway. And if you were wondering, well, Joe, how much ground clearance do we have? You actually have over 7.5 inches of ground clearance from where my foot is to where the underside of the CX-5 is. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the interior and see what the CX-5 brings to the table compared to the RAV4 in our 2022 CX-5. All right, guys, we're inside this refresh, updated, changed up 2022 Mazda CX-5. Remember, this particular one is the S trim, but it also has the premium package. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've been looking at all your reviews for the compact SUV segment of the industry. I've been looking for that versatile vehicle to use as my daily driver to get the kids to and from school, to do what I need to do for work. How much is this particular Mazda, especially now that they're standard all-wheel drive? So it's got to be more money. You're correct about the more money. So all CX-5s, all trims cost about $585 more than last year. And that's because of all-wheel drive becoming standard. Now, before you hoot and holler and throw a bunch of stuff around in your living room right now, the great news is that all-wheel drive used to be a $1,400 option. So now you're basically getting it for less than half. So at the end of the day, this particular one, the way that it's optioned with the premium package, you're looking at an MSRP of $33,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. Love what Mazda does. They bring that luxury style feel without the luxury style price. You're going to have soft touch material. That stitching looks spot on the money. The wood finish is contemporary, but also not looking fuddy-duddy. And you even have that two-tone with the ceramic white bouncing off from the black door panel. Nice soft armrest with more stitching. The one zonk is that there's still that pesky gloss black right around the switch gear where you're going to be putting your fingers. So get ready to have your Mazda microfiber cloth to wipe that clean. Door pocket, though, is super size. You could easily put 2 Big Macs and a medium fry and a bottle of Coca-Cola to wash it down. We got the Bose sound system, nice clear tunes. And then going from the door panel to the dash, same story. Look at this, soft touch material. I'm loving this silver trim. Even that wood finish looks great without looking like too much like it was just chopped down in the redwood forest. And then what do we have for infotainment? You're gonna get that floating iPad style. I know it's a love-hate relationship for some. 10.25-inch infotainment system screen. I guess the biggest zonk is gonna be you could touch it, but it doesn't do anything. It's a non-touchscreen system. So what does that mean? You got to use the direct drive control knob, which I'm about to showcase these different features. So in the information side of things, look at how you just click down. You can get all of your average fuel economy, really take into consideration how much fuel you're using and how much it's costing you. So that's a really nice setup to have. You could just scroll through your different system, go into navigation. You could go into settings, of course, and then set everything up exactly the way that you want to have it, from rain sensing wipers to the turn signals. The one thing that is the zonk is that it's a non-touch screen, and I wish that it had a little bit more capability. Allow me to kind of see the all-wheel drive system maybe work, or maybe just give me a little bit more detail into what we're seeing. But obviously, you're going to get Apple CarPlay, you're going to get Android Auto. And once you get the hang of this system, I think anybody can successfully work their way through. We could go into in-vehicle displays, night mode, day mode. Let's go ahead and put it in day mode, and then we'll go back. But real simple with the overall understanding of it. Working your way down, you do have the aluminum style finish. I like the way they kept the AC vents nice and easy to get to. Your start-stop button. You do have heated seats, no ventilated seats on this trim. We have the awesome controls for the dual climate. They really feel super high quality, and I think that's where this is going to outshine the RAV4, is just the quality of the feel, fit, and finish. You'll see that off-white material with the stitching on the sides. We have, of course, our official Mazda Twinkie tray. Easily put 8 Twinkies. Plus, there's a 12-volt in here. So if you need to run a radar detector or maybe some other type of powered instrument, you can put that right there. This guy's going to control the 6-speed conventional automatic transmission with a torque converter. A little bit more of that gloss black. I wish that they could have done something maybe with some silver trim or something so that you don't get your fingerprints. You see, now we got to get an FBI agent out here to test my fingerprints. You do still have the switch gear left of the shifter. Now the big news is it's called M Drive, because you actually could go through 3 different modes, which I'll show you that when you come to the business side of things. There's that direct drive control knob that I was operating. You actually do get a real volume knob, so you can fine tune that Bose sound system. 2 cup holders, your standard issued key fob. Looks like a Zippo lighter, but it's nice and light and super slim with the buttons on the side. Super soft, like a roll of Charmin. Open it up, look at this. You have a go away Cheez-Its tray. So you can put a few Cheez-Its here for a passenger that you really like to have a snack. We got another 12 volt, 2 USBs, and you could easily fit, I would say, 12 G.I. Joe action figures. Remember, they're not dolls, they're action figures from the 1980s in there. Keep them safe, away from Destro and Cobra and everything. And then, of course, you're gonna have the nice soft material on the seats, high quality, with the stitch work all the way down. Electric assist for the passenger, electric assist for the captain, the driver, and you have a standard sunroof in here on that premium package. Lots of room, just like always. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of space in here. But why don't you get your butt over to the business end? I want to show you behind the leather wrap wheel in this updated CX-5. All right, guys, business time on this CX-5. I like the way they have the memory seat settings, easy to get to, right at the top of where the plastic is, where it meets the cushion of the seat. And you have all your electric seat controls, including, ooh, that feels good, lower lumbar. One thing I forgot to point out is the high resolution backup camera. Look how clear that is. You can actually see the geometric lines of those two arrows. The one zonk is, why can't it fit up more of the screen? You do have the trajectory. It doesn't move with the steering. That would be the other zonk, but it would have been nice if it just came out to the edges. We got plenty of room, but it is very clear resolution, so I'm happy to report that. Steering wheel, great thickness, very sporty without being too over the top. I like the way they hollowed out the center here. Flat black on the buttons. You do have paddles to go up and down the 6-speed automatic transmission, manual tilt and telescoping steering wheel. And then, of course, you got that dash, which is smartly organized. That's a digital display in the center. That's your speedometer, and you could scroll through different information. You got your fuel gauge to the right, you got your MPGs to the left, and then you're gonna have an analog tach, analog coolant gauge, and fuel gauge. Very nice balance of instrumentation. And then, just like I said before, the amount of space in here is just phenomenal. But let's get in the back seat and see if your passenger is gonna feel the same way as you sit up front as they sit in the back. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, backseat time. And still, the CX-5 really brings that sporty look on the outside without making it too claustrophobic and cramp in the backseat area. I'm not even close to the headliner, so really good feeling. And I like what they did with the seats. The white on the front, the black on the back, all soft touch. You have nice large pockets. You could put a couple sections of corkboard back here for when you're gonna hang that up on your wall, and maybe put some pins that you collected from all the different states in the country that you've been to. And then at the back end of the business on the console, the center console, we do have AC vents. Now don't get too worried about this area not seeing anything, because you'll see in a second. I got my own pocket over here. Of course, I'm gonna put some freaking food. I'm hungry. I want a calzone right about now. Nice, big, and thick. But anyways, I like the way you got yourself a nice crap handle here, soft trim, and then look at what we got. Super high armrest, perfect height. You actually have a pencil holder here for your number 2s. Make sure you use number 2s on the Scantrons or the machines won't register them. 2 cup holders, semi-soft on the armrest lid here, but because this is a lid, what do we got? Felt lining, so your Skittles aren't gonna rub off their colors, and we got USBs. What I like about having the USBs here is, think about it, the wire just comes right to me. Instead of the wires being down by my leg and I might accidentally kick it, put it back, same great material, all perforated, nice and soft. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into that cargo area and see what we can haul in this CX-5. All right, guys, tail end of the business. Now with the preferred package, we're gonna have that nice electric opening rear hatch area. And what's great is, just like last year's CX-5, you're still gonna get that great amount of space left to right. We got the nooks on both sides. One box of Twinkies on each side, which is fantastic. You do have a 12 volt located right where that little battery looking thing is. That's gonna be your 12 volt for when you go to the beach. When you tailgate, you lift this up, you do get a spare. A lot of brands are getting rid of them, but you do get a spare. And if this isn't enough space for you, look how easy it is to put the seats down. Boom. Put that side down. I'm gonna come over on this side. We'll pull this lever. Wow, look at all that space. And if you want your hard numbers, if you're like, Joe, I have my abacus out, I'm a mathematician, what do we got? 30 cubic feet with the seats up, almost 60 cubic feet with those seats down, you could do your Costco run, you could pick up the kids from hockey practice, you could take all the boys out to a round of golf with all their golf bags. But you know what? I'm not about playing with my balls. I'm about going on throttle in the CX-5. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's take it for a little spin. All right, guys, we left West Shore Mazda. We're in the 2022 Mazda CX-5 S-Trim with the premium package. Right away, it just feels familiar, and that's a great thing. It feels like a familiar friend. Getting to that MI drive switch is really simple, and you can see how the speedometer changes color, bright red when you're in sport mode. We have normal, and then off-road has a brown trim. No, not for chocolate, but for dirt. But I'm gonna go ahead and put in sport mode, and we're gonna go on throttle. Here we go. Nice naturally aspirated power. We're gonna go around the roundabout here so you can see that great handling that Mazda is known for. Nice, sporty driving, and that's something that you're not gonna find on the RAV4. This is definitely the better driving compact SUV and probably the best one in its class. I love being able to have the nice clear view out the windshield. If you're worried about this infotainment system screen blocking your view, your vision, it does not whatsoever. Plus all the finishes in here, everywhere you touch, it feels upscale. Now you'll notice that we're about 2,700 RPM doing about almost 35 miles an hour. When I hit the MI drive switch and go to normal, that's when it's going to actually drop down and change. So you go to normal and you'll notice that the RPMs drop very, very quickly. So we're doing 30 miles an hour there, and you can see it keeps the revs down to about 1,500, 1,600 RPM. But let's go ahead and put it back into sport mode. Obviously with off-road, that isn't some mode for rock crawling. It's for when you want to go to that cabin that maybe is off the beaten path and you got some dirt, some gravel, some sand to get through. That's going to really help you make it to where your destination is because of the way that it's tuned. But on throttle, very, very nice instant torque reaction, torque response. You have such a linear power delivery with the inline four, that 2.5 liter inline four, and it's definitely the peppier of the engines. I love the way the sport mode really holds on to the gear for you and allows you to accelerate that much nicer. And then you go into sport and you see it immediately drops down. So if you're on the highway, my advice is go normal. But if you're driving normally around town, or maybe you've found that favorite twisty road that you love, sport mode is definitely going to be the way to go because it's going to help with the overall throttle response and acceleration. And that's what it's doing. It's changing how the engine and the transmission behave with one another, and also that throttle sensitivity, which is nice. But very, very comfortable seating, lots of space. You do get obviously the sound of a four-cylinder engine, so it is a little bit of a buzzy sound, but that's typical with a four-cylinder engine. And if you need more power, you could get more power with the turbocharged setup. Remember, that's 250 horsepower out of this turbocharged power plant, which is phenomenal as well. But brakes feel good. Nice weight to the steering as well. And that is something that I've always enjoyed with all the Mazda products. But really, really smooth. The cabin, they do a great job on sound deadening. They do a great job, of course, on the quality of the materials. And we're gonna go on throttle again, pulling out on this road. On throttle, here we go. No slip, all grip. Very, very smooth. And I'm liking that for 2022, when you go into sport mode, the speedometer turns red. That did not do that last year. You would only have normal and sport. And then of course going into off-road, then you have the brown color. So very nice to have that little extra something to differentiate the modes, because it is quite different. Normal and sport are very, very different with the Mazda CX-5 between those two modes. But very, very balanced in the steering. And also, of course, the power delivery with the all-wheel drive system is also very, very balanced and smooth. Here we are driving down the highway. We're doing right now about 55 miles an hour. I'm at 3,000 RPM. I'm gonna go ahead and put in a normal mode and see it dropped it to, wow, around 1,800 RPM. So big difference between normal and sport. And that's something I think to remember compared to the competition, is that there is definitely a big difference. And I like that. That's how it should be. They shouldn't be too similar. But going down the road, even with the sections of concrete here, it's actually very smooth, very quiet. You got that 55 series sidewall that's gonna soften the blow as you go down the road. And that's gonna be a good thing, especially when you live in states like Michigan, which Michigan, I think, has some of the worst roads when it comes to potholes and everything else. But very, very smooth driving. And I know a lot of people were hoping for a redesign, but I really think that the way that they set up this CX-5 and update really just brings it right up to par with everybody else super easily. And you're gonna have, I think, a vehicle that will continue to age gracefully and have the technology that you want. Maybe not the touchscreen, but the Apple CarPlay, the Android Auto, and everything else. But we're gonna get back to West Shore Mazda and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been one heck of a day up here at West Shore Mazda. Definitely want to thank Raymond and the rest of the team getting us access to one of their very first 2022 updated, upgraded CX-5s. Let me know what you think. Are you gonna go with that higher feel of luxury and style over the mighty RAV4, or are you gonna stick with that top seller? Put it in the comment section. I'm dying to know which direction you would go in. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raity's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just like this for you specifically, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Raity's Rides merch. Got to give it up to the queen. She's wearing her crown. It almost blew off a couple times, but you know what? She stayed solid and strong and brought us the footage, brought us the content. Show Lori some love in that comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.